Engineers and their stupid ideas. I don't know why some of these idiots have jobs and get paid. I really don't. So a few years ago, I had a different bush hog and that thing kind of came unglued. So I made an insurance claim on it when I had insurance and I was running the business. And they gave me a little bit of money, about, a little bit. And it wasn't enough to buy a new bush hog. But anyway, I wound up getting a new bush hog, which is a Frontier RC 2048. And I got looking at the drive shaft. I was thinking, that's a pretty piss poor design for a drive shaft. And I don't really do much bush hogging anymore, just for a couple of people and right around the house here. So it's not getting used and abused. Now, a PTO shaft comes in two pieces. So when you pick your implement up and down, the shaft will expand and contract. It needs to be able to slip. If it doesn't slip, your implement's not going to go up and down. You have to have that slip joint. So let me show you what's happened here. I went out to mow one of my fields this morning, and it's a 6-hour mow job, 6.5 hours. It's a nice field. It's like a freaking parking lot, all right? And then all of a sudden, I noticed my hog wouldn't go back down to the ground. Couldn't figure out what was going on. So I finally figured out, here's the issue. I finally got the thing to drop to the ground, and it actually yanked that coupling, which locks onto that shaft. It yanked it right off. So I says, oh, well, there's a problem. So what's going on is this slip joint is not slipping anymore. It's solid, it won't move. This was all covered in plastic shroud. I couldn't see this. I came home, got a razor knife out, cut all that mess out of the way so I could see what the hell was going on. So here's what's going on. It's nice and cool now. You can see I've heated it up with a torch. Then we've got this friggin' ignorant plastic bucket that I hacked off to get it out of the way. It used to be over here, covering all this up, trying to make, safety for stupid people. And made it just about impossible to get in there and grease anything. So I got it out of the way because I had to get some measurements for a new shaft. So this is just trash. It's coming off along with the shaft. But anyway, here's the remainder of the plastic shroud, and here's the remainder of the plastic shroud. None of this could be seen before, okay? So I got it all opened up. Check out the piss poor design. You have round shafts on something that is rotary. So as this spins, you've got torque and force, spinning, right? Check this out. It's worn off. You have a little lip of a hump right there and one on the opposite side, which made in right there and one on the opposite side. That is the only thing connecting these two shafts together and transferring your tractor power to this bush hog. So the vibration, anytime you hit a stump, you hit a rock, something like that, that comes right back into here. Now keep in mind, every time you pick this up and down, this is supposed to go like this, right? And this shaft is way down in here somewhere. It's not like it ends right here. So it's way down in there. But it's supposed to slip because it needs to get longer and get shorter as all this comes up and down. So you have a wear point, right? Well, look at all the wear in here. This other side ain't no better. Let me get flipped over for you. Look at that. Now, see our problem? Yeah. Does that look like a problem to you? So now she's jammed up friggin' solid. So I thought, well, maybe with some heat, I can get it freed up You know, maybe run some weld over it, grind it down, get this thing working again to get by with. Nope, no can do. She is not coming apart. So this shaft is shot. I called the place where I got this, said, hey, you got another shaft for this? It's going to take a week. So I cut that friggin' retarded bucket off from there to get it out of the way, because I wanted to make sure we were talking about the same thing. I wanted to measure the gearbox shaft, 1.3", the bolt length, bolt diameter. I wanted to confirm all that stuff for them to make sure I was getting the correct shaft. So I got all that measured up. Couldn't do that with that stupid freaking bucket in the way. So, yeah. All right. So yeah, I confirmed the length of the bolt, the diameter of the bolt, get in there with a set of calipers, confirmed the shaft diameter for them. Everything adds up. It's gonna be about 220 bucks plus tax to get this friggin' shaft replaced. You know, and I'm probably gonna wind up the exact same friggin' BS as this. So here I sit. I'm down for a week. I've got probably, I don't know, 80-foot wide swath cut right down the middle of this guy's field, and I'm stuck. So, you know, cousin Dave, he's like master mechanic dude. He says, yeah, that's the normal way nowadays to build PTO shafts. Absolutely friggin' ignorant. A round shaft, really? Why not a triangle? You know, or an octagon, a square, something that can't possibly wear like that and then rotate inside of itself and jam up like this. Oh, but wait, if we build it like this, you know, we're going to have these problems. We could sell more stuff, right? That's the American way. Well, this thing has just been miserable. The manual tells you to pull out the shear pin, which, yeah, we did that. And then this is supposed to slide back on the remaining shaft to expose shaft there to get a snap ring off. Then you're supposed to be able to slide the whole thing off. Well, this does not slide back. I've spun it around, hit it with a friggin' hammer, and it just sits where it is. There's nothing wrong with the slip clutch. You know, out here in the shaft is what's screwed up. So the new shaft is here. I'm picking it up tomorrow morning. So I'm gonna see about popping these snap rings out of the U-joint. Get it to sit still, fighting the blade. There we go. See if I can get them to pop out of there and knock that U-joint out. And I'll do the same thing on a new shaft and just replace it from that point forward. It's moving. Gonna need two hands because I'm gonna have to loosen up, get in there with a little screwdriver and pick it up out of there. Alright, get that snap ring popped up out. And roll it over. Do the same thing on this one. Right there. Try and get the blades where they're gonna balance so this thing don't roll. Should be right about there somewhere. There we go. Now in theory, with a hammer and a punch, I should be able to drive on that cup, drive that one down out of there, and get the U-joint out, and then drive the other one out. Yeah, you can see how that's recessing down in there, right? Roll it over for you. Whoops. You can see that starting to push out through that yoke. This side here is starting to push out through there. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, we're getting her on the run there now. So I had to get in there with a small flat cold chisel just to help drive that cup out and then get it out that far. It's going pretty easy. So I think now if I hook some vice grips onto it, might just be able to tap it the rest of the way out with the vice grips. I don't even have to tap it, just come right out. Yep. All right. Now what we gotta do is get this thing flipped over like that. Now I'm gonna drive the U-joint that way to push that cup out. Yeah, finally got the freaking thing out of there. So I guess tomorrow that's where I'm gonna break the other one apart after I get all the freaking shrouding off from it, so I can access it. Should have this back up and going. Well, now they got that freaking drive shaft out of the way, I can see something. I see the snap ring in there. So I've reversed my pliers, so when I squeeze they expand now instead of contract. So I'm gonna see if I can get in there and get that snap ring out and slip the slip clutch off. So I'm pretty sure the new shaft comes with a slip clutch. If not, I can just put this one back on. Got it. So you can kind of see how that works. So now in theory, that thing should come off from there. Let's find out. And it still fetches up. How about that? Well, guess I'll hit the back of it with a hammer and see what happens. Finally friggin' made it. Yeah, I don't know how you're supposed to get in there and get that snap ring when you got a U-joint in the way. According to the book, you know, that's all you gotta do is take that bolt out, slide it back onto the shaft, and get in there and pull the retaining ring out, and it all slides right apart. You know, that's what the book says. Right. Yep. Anyway, I'm gonna take some brake cleaner to that shaft to get that mess all cleaned up, so hopefully the new one goes on easier. Hey again, crew. I think I'm gonna make an appearance back on the field today. Check this. $217 later. So here's the tractor end. Now this one is set up to go straight to the gearbox with no slip clutch. So I guess I'm a few miles ahead by getting that slip clutch knocked off from there yesterday. So this just goes on and uses a shear bolt. See if we can get her done. Well, hopefully this all goes good. I'm going to cheat severely, and both U-joints are getting greased up before I put this thing on. Yeah, because, well, I got that stupid freaking bucket cut off from there now, but once you get the shaft on like that, it makes it a little harder to get in there with a grease gun. So this way is easier. Well, this is a pleasant surprise. This drive shaft should last forever. It's too long, okay? They usually are going to be that way because the same drive shaft will fit different implements. So you just need to cut it to fit your machine to your implement. No big deal. So I slid it apart and look what I found. Now that is better. Triangular shaped instead of round. So we shouldn't have the same issue that we had on the other one. Alright, so I'm set up to chop the implement end of this. I've used the old one as a guide, and you can see I've kind of got things lined up there so I get the same length. So right about there is where we want to cut it. This is not an exact science. If I'm off an inch or something, it's no big deal, and I still have to cut the other side of the shaft too. here's what we got. So I cut the shroud back, then you're gonna have your boogers from cutting that. So hit it with a grinder, smoothed it up, had some plastic that had melted on there from the cut, scraped it all off with a knife. So this end of the shaft is ready to install. Well, yeah, that was easy. I greased the gearbox shaft, slicked it up a little bit, slid that yoke right on there, put the bolt through, end of story. Easy. And I don't care about the freaking cup that was on there for stupid people, safety reasons. So now I'm gonna double check my measurements for this half of the dry shaft, and we'll get that cut. So we don't want it to overlap by only like this much. We want to have a good overlap, like down into here somewhere. But we can't have it come down into here because as it picks up, it would jam. So we'll get it right about there. There, looks like I am back in freaking business. I ain't making no money on this field because basically everything I was gonna make went into that dry shaft. So I'm only gonna put about 150 bucks in my pocket. Oh well, name of the game, I guess. Anyway, I'm gonna fire the machine up, and I'm gonna change the oil in the gearbox real quick. Looks kind of nasty. So we'll see how she does. From what I can determine, I have to pump the old oil out of the box. So I just pulled the plug out right there, and that's what's coming out. It's pretty nasty. Yeah, it definitely needs to get changed. So I'm gonna get some run out there. I guess I'm just gonna sop it up with a big rag here for the moment until it stops running. And then I got my hand pump here. I can pump it into a bucket. So that's the plan. See the difference in the oil, huh? So I got out as much of the old stuff as I could, and I left that check plug open, and I poured in some new stuff, just trying to flush out some more of the older junk. Yeah, pretty gross. So I put the check plug back in, fill my box up to where it's supposed to be, wipe all this mess up. Not too much of a mess. I've done pretty good here. Then get to the field. Seems to be running pretty good. Nothing funky's happening here. So we'll go give her a shot. She's cutting good. So far, so good. I'm a good halfway done with this field now. So we'll keep hammering away on it.